everybody. Welcome to episode number 2 of the International Gamers Pubcast. So thank you for coming back for a second go. I don't know if we put on a very good impression in our first episode, but we're giving this a try and we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
So little note, you probably won't notice, but our third leg is unable to attend today. Richard had a bit of a crazy night last night. And wasn't able to make it into his chair today to record with us.
He's very, very hungover.
But we do have a surprised guest sit-in who's very shy, so he's not going to talk, but he's our producer. And maybe we'll say something offensive about Persona 5 and he'll want to jump in to defend that boring ass looking game.
Fuck you, I love Persona 5. I love Persona 5 as well. Like, you trying to get us to team up against you because that's
exactly.
how
I'm trying to get him to
it.
talk, actually.
You did it.
Well, you did
So
good.
anyway, it's me, your host, Jeremy. I'm with my, I guess, co-host.
Yeah?
I don't know what the terminology in podcasts are, but
Me neither.
Reese is here.
Hey.
And should we say your name? Or do you want to be anonymous?
Might as well try it. Yeah.
This is Alessandro. He goes by Pelli. Do you go officially by Pelli?
I go officially by Pelli, yeah.
Today's episode is going to be a lot shorter than the first one, and it's going to be a little bit more structured than the first. So just to give you an idea of what's going on behind the scenes, we're working out kind of the kinks of what exactly we're focusing on. We're figuring out the best way to move this forward, and we have kind of some new, I guess, segments that we'll be trying out in the next few episodes. So we're really looking forward to that. And I guess we'll get right into today's episode, which is going to be a very quick and easy chat about what we've been playing this week. And then some of the news that's hit the gaming industry and that's been on our minds recently. So I guess we'll jump straight into it. Reese, what have you been playing this week?
Yeah, sure. Like, for me, this week, it's been a bit of a slow week for games. Like, I've been sick, I've been, just a bit tired, and just haven't really had a lot of time for games.
It's a pretty quiet part of the year as well, so...
Yeah, exactly. There's been very few, new releases, so I've just been playing, my comfort games. One of those being Beat Saber in VR. Have you played Beat Saber before, guys?
Yep, I wouldn't say it's comfortable though.
Oh, yeah, I know. But for me, I love rhythm games, and Beat Saber is a VR rhythm game, right? So basically, there's a bunch of blocks coming at you, and you have, 2 lightsabers, one in each hand, and you have to, slice each block as it comes to you, and each block represents, say, a note in a song or something like that. And it's all, I hate trance and techno music, but
You don't have to say you hate trance, man.
I know. I'm sorry. Alessandro is a lapsed DJ. He used to DJ at clubs. He loves trance and techno and stuff like that. So I'm offending him very much right now. But I do not like that kind of music. But still, I can appreciate it within Beat Saber. It feels good to play. You almost feel like a rock star. I know that sounds weird, it being trance rhythm game, but
I mean, that's the appeal of rhythm games, right?
yeah, exactly. It's something you could never do in real life. It makes you feel like you can do it.
Is it exclusively electronic style music? Because I've played Beat Saber when it first came out and when it had a very kind of standard pack of songs.
Yeah.
But since then, I've seen people play Rap God in Beat Saber from Eminem and kind of other songs, including I think. Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, which is a very new song from the Witcher Netflix series. But can you import a song? Can you make a track if you want to?
You can make a track, and those songs you're talking about now, they're from the modern community. It's user generated content. On the most part, it is just EDM, electronic dance music.
Okay.
But there are a couple of rock songs in the standard set list. I think there's 2. And then you have also promotional stuff, there's a song from League of Legends, is Virtual Band. You have DLC from Green Day. I think that was a bit random. I have no idea why it would be Green Day.
Actually, when I was at the Game Awards, basically they performed there, and it turns out that their performance was kind of an advertisement for Beat Saber content that was coming out.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, so they go all in on this stuff.
I guess so. I mean, just Green Day performance is always good in my book, so I was happy about it.
Yeah, I mean the '90s would be better than now, but
Well, they graced us with one of their older songs,
okay.
and then a newer one.
Was it Basket Case? It was Basket Case.
It wasn't Basket. I
No.
forget which song it was,
Oh, man.
but it was a good time in the stadium.
What, 90s and Make Your Own Music? Didn't you guys remember about Music Maker 2000 for the PS1 or PS2? Have you ever tried the game?
No, what is it?
Music Maker?
No,
Oh
never,
my god,
never
that's what introduced me to music production.
Seriously?
It was a game where you could produce your own track. It was sick. At the
Wow.
time.
Was it
Really sick.
Was it like a music producing, like a studio application?
Yeah, it was very similar to today's software, like Ableton Live or Cubase or Logic.
Kind of like
it was-
Rock Band, maybe.
No, not really. It was more on the professional side.
Or like Fruit Loops or something.
Yeah,
like
you had a
more
lot of
basic.
loops and single hits, and you could compose your own melody or put together pre-made loops.
Wow, on the PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation 1, I think.
Okay, this is your
Touch.
podcast officially because you know
Alright.
more about PlayStation than we do.
Yeah, I have
But
no idea.
I'm the producer, so I'm out.
The producer, the seducer.
I told you we'd make you talk.
That
No,
was
but
quite
I mean,
easy actually.
some of my favorite games have been, Guitar Hero was an absolute favorite of mine.
Me too.
On the PS2. I mean, I was actually thinking about this recently, but I don't think I ever owned it. But my buddy owned it, and I would go over to his place, and I would play BYOB by System of a Down on repeat.
Oh yeah.
I think that game almost single-handedly got me into metal.
Seriously?
Yeah, because of all the Avenged Sevenfold and System of a Down's not necessarily metal, but
I'd call it metal. Yeah.
especially BYOB was pretty heavy, and it kind of like broke some of the misconceptions that I had around metal when I was a wee lad. So basically, just showing how fun it could be, and after that, I started listening to System of a Down and Disturbed and like Avenged Sevenfold on my own time.
Yeah.
And that kind of careened into my adoration of metal. So thank you, Guitar Hero, for that. But then I also played. Excuse me.
You're welcome.
Fuck you. I also played a lot of not Rock Band. What was the other one where you plugged in your real guitar?
Oh, Rocksmith.
Rocksmith,
Yeah.
2014, and the original one as well.
Yeah.
And there's just something so fun about like converging gaming mechanics and like reward systems and scores with music.
Yeah.
That really like can make you play for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I agree. But it's like interesting what you said about kind of Guitar Hero getting you interested in metal. Because I had the same thing with like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, where they had like AFI and like all these metal and punk bands.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
like that was literally the first time I'd been exposed to that stuff. Like both. Yeah, Jeremy just opened another beer, by the way. On top. But that was the first time I was exposed to both like punk and metal, and also skateboarding culture. And at this point, I was like 10 years old. And like now, literally, I still love skateboarding. I still love metal. I still love punk. And it's crazy how much influence like games can have over your life.
So it's
like,
safe to assume that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater made you the shitty person you are today. Well, then thanks Tony Hawk's for not making a new game and making Reese the shitty person he is.
Or no more Reese in our world. I mean, no more Tony Hawks mean no more Reese.
Ah, that's true.
No new Reese's.
No new
right?
Reese's.
Reese.
Reese's
Reese's?
Pieces.
Recess.
No, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I don't have a VR headset currently. I really want one. I don't know if I'm gonna go PSVR, I'm gonna wait for the PS5.
Yeah.
But I'm also eyeballing that Oculus.
Quest.
Not the Quest. Is it the S?
The Rift S.
The Rift S. It's. I'd rather plug directly into my PC, and I think it's what, $300-$400.
Something like that. Yeah, so as well as Beat Saber, this is going to sound pretty shocking to people who know me, but I've also been playing a bit of Candy Crush Saga.
Fuck you.
I know.
Get out.
I know, but like
Stop
I was...
recording. Hey
No.
Google, end recording.
Oh, fuck off. But like, yeah, I've been sick the past like day, so it's literally the only thing I could do.
You've been very sick.
Yeah, I mean,
You've been playing Candy Crush.
no, but I mean, I haven't been able to, like, I was at home sick, I couldn't like watch TV, I couldn't play games. The only thing I felt like I could do was play Candy Crush.
Well, I don't really want to talk about Candy Crush.
Yeah, me
Okay,
neither.
what have you been playing then, Jeremy?
Oh, fuck! I actually buried myself a little bit here. So maybe Candy Crush isn't as bad as
What have you been playing?
So, my girlfriend and I got a subscription to the New York Times this week, and
Why would you do that?
What? Where's this going?
I've been mostly playing the New York Times crosswords and puzzles.
What? Like
Yeah.
digital? Yeah, or
Digitally, so I mean they have an app.
So you were serious when you told me I'm just doing some crosswords?
100%. I asked.
So you were fucking with me.
I asked if you can't tell from the accent, Alessandro is Italian, and he's the.
or his actual name, Alessandro. Like,
Oh, that could be Spanish.
okay,
No,
yeah, fair enough.
Ignorant.
Could be not.
Welsh people are very ignorant.
Yeah, we are.
Um,
Fuck everyone.
So basically, one of the answers to the crossword puzzle was feta, and I think the clue was something like a common white pizza topping. And when I got that one, I was like, that sounds. I don't think I've ever had a fucking pizza with feta on it. That was like a real pizza, like maybe something like Hawaiian pizza, like some kind of disgusting. Bastardization of pizza will have feta on it. So
it's feta's Greek, is it not?
it is Greek.
It is.
Yeah.
So anyway, I texted Alessandro and I asked him, and he was like, "Nah, I wouldn't put that on pizza. I mean, I wouldn't. He wouldn't be surprised, right? Is that what you said? You wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised.
I wouldn't
it's on
judge
pizza?
you as much as pineapple or kiwi on your pizza.
I love
Yeah.
a pineapple pizza, man.
You can go fuck yourself for the second time today.
I love fucking Hawaiian pizza.
Oh, the bang, bit of ham, bit of pineapple.
Dude,
Alessandro.
Alright, I'm out, guys. Bye.
Alessandro is literally squirming and frowning right now.
when you're hungover, Hawaiian pizza.
Oh, vitamin C, some salt.
Do you think there's any vitamin left in that pineapple that's been baked?
Oh my god, guys, I'm
400
actually
degrees for 5
scared.
minutes?
I'm scared.
So anyway, basically, turns out crossword puzzles are fun, and I was kind of hesitant to put this on what I've been playing this week, but I think I've probably sunk in like 3 hours just like sitting on the couch with TV on in the background.
Jeremy, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
At the very
Alright,
least,
fuck you.
I hope you were super high when you played this
Yeah,
game.
seriously, that sounds like a
Because
high.
otherwise, I'm taking Reese's side with Candy Crush.
Okay, fuck you
I
guys.
guess
It's,
you're
it's
fucking
fun.
boring,
and
grumpy. You're literally paying the New York Times to play crossword.
I got a good deal. And they have New York Times cooking. It's fucking dank. We're not.
Can you
sponsored
not
by New
read
York Times.
news on any other blogs or on Reddit?
They're good,
that
and the opinion.
normal people do.
You know what? I'm not gonna vouch for the New York Times here, but I am gonna say that the fact that the crosswords and the puzzles and stuff come as a bonus for a subscription with them. I mean, I already kind of feel like it hasn't paid for it, but given all the other benefits that I've gotten with them, like it's been fun to have these like really short format puzzles that you can play.
It really
And-
sounds like they're paying you to advertise a product.
I wish. New York
Guys,
Times.
but,
used
you
to
know,
not
buy
that-
1 year subscription, get a month free.
New York Times, if you're out there, I'm vouching.
No,
send
but
send me
like-
some dollars.
No, but I know what you mean. Like, it's kind of like back to basics. It's just,
Yeah.
it sounds very simplistic, but
I mean,
you're having fun with it. So
I
fuck it.
rarely get simplistic with the games that I play, and I don't really play many like mobile games or puzzle games or anything of the sort. So like, I've been having a lot of fun with this, and it's also really fun to like sit with my girlfriend and like go through the crossword and fuck around with it. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So just to restore some faith in the viewers, the other game that I've put too many hours in this week has been Rainbow Six Siege. So a little bit about myself, which you may come to discover if you continue listen to this, which is a big if.
A big ask as well. But
is,
please do.
I'm a massive Ubisoft fan. I'm a massive Rainbow Six Siege fan. I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege since it came out originally, and now it's really been starting to develop kind of a larger player base. I mean, there's been reports out there of like 50 million active players, and it represents, I mean, I think more people, more players of Ubisoft titles play Rainbow Six Siege than any other franchise, which is huge.
Yeah, and like I think Rainbow Six Siege has been one of those examples of a game that kind of came out to a tepid reception, but since then has kind of built itself up and has been like very respected in the industry.
Yeah, so it's kind of a case study in games as a service.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Ubisoft has been like one of the like front runners in that, right? Like they did that with Siege, they did it with like For Honor as well. I mean, For Honor right now is probably dead, but it felt dead on arrival, but Ubisoft kept pouring resources into it and kind of built it up into this kind of thing that people enjoy, right? And Ubisoft have been very good at doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft has had a bit of a difficult 2019 with kind of Ghost Recon Breakpoint coming out and kind of being met with a bit of pushback. I mean, Pelly and I played quite a bit of Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah, I played a couple of matches with you guys as well. And we did have fun in what we did, but
it got a little stagnant.
But we had to make it fun.
Exactly,
ourselves.
we had to make it fun ourselves. But the beautiful thing is that most game companies, if you were complaining about a game that they just released, they would just kind of keep doing as they were. EA.
Anthem.
But Ubisoft kind of is able to know when it messed up, and it takes basically the required actions to correct those fuck ups very efficiently. So with Breakpoint specifically, what they said was, okay, we understand we're going to delay kind of the future releases so that we're sure that they're quality tested and everything is good with them. And I think that Rainbow Six Siege is really a case study in that kind of behavior, because when it came out, I think at launch week, it had 10,000 active players. At launch week.
That's so bad.
That's almost as many viewers as we have.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
We have
Not
a lot fewer. Yeah.
It's like us. Maybe we'll go the Ubisoft path. Or
we are. We're going to do the Warframe thing.
Titanfall 2 right now has more online players than Rainbow Six Siege did when it launched. Which is
That's insane.
So to go from that to 50 million active accounts and just hundreds of thousands of concurrent players is a huge feat, and the esports community that they've developed is really impressive. And actually, that's what has been so exciting about playing Siege this past week is they're currently hosting a Siege Invitational event. So the Siege Invitational is one of the biggest Rainbow Six Siege esports events of the year, and it's all the top teams who go against each other in the tournament. So it's not in a league format, and it's international. So you get teams from Japan, the U.S., Brazil, the UK, France. France has a player on one of their teams, BDS, who literally got kicked out of the league for a year because people thought that he was cheating because of how good he is.
Holy shit.
And he's back now, and he's basically gearing to take his revenge against the people who ousted him wrongfully. So there's a lot of drama and everything. It's been really exciting. And they built this entire event with a new map, which is a combination of two maps. So if you play Rainbow Six Siege, there's various objectives that you have to defend and attack. And they've actually stacked multiple objectives from different maps together, and so it's been incredibly exciting.
But like, is this invitational? Like, is it all online, or do they fly out all these players from different territories to a stadium or something?
Yeah, so it's an offline event being held in Montreal, actually. And what's really interesting is just the amount of content that was developed around this, and the amount of effort that they put into the community. And last year was probably one of their better years in kind of community listening and the content output, but they're really showing with this specific event that they're planning on doubling down on that, including a lot more stuff. So it's really exciting to be a part of the Rainbow Six community at this point. And the event that I've been playing for the past week has been really fun. Also went 9 kills and 2 deaths today. With Warden. So if anybody out there who's listening plays Rainbow Six Siege knows about the meta, Warden is one of the meme operators that you could choose. He's absolute trash. But my goal is to get good at the game with Warden, just so I can play meme ops and win. but that will never happen.
And piss people off.
Exactly.
Toxic.
So what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Persona 5 for a few days now.
I feel like that's a recurring theme.
It is. It's a very long game. It's gonna take approximately more than 100 hours to complete.
Wow. Is it your second playthrough?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a second playthrough kind of guy. I feel like once I'm done with the game, I tend to finish all the side quests and possible options and missions during the first playthrough, and there's no reason for me to ever replay a game. And I really feel like the market is so full of new opportunities in games that I don't feel like replaying games. I don't see the value in replaying games nowadays because the market is so full of opportunities and new games every year. And it kind of bores me to go through the opening scenes again for the second time, especially games like Persona where the opening scene is more than 10 hours long.
Interesting. I mean, I've definitely replayed my fair share of games. I was talking last week on the podcast about LA Noire, which I've replayed quite a few times, and Bioshock is a game that Bioshock 1 and Infinite are games that I consistently replay once I get bored of the games that are currently out there. That's changed a little bit because Rainbow Six Siege is not... You can open your fucking beer, Reese. Rainbow Six Siege is not... It's something that I really picked up more recently. So, I don't get that kind of backlog, or, well, not backlog, but out of release season angst / boredom that I used to get, but now I double down on Rainbow Six Siege and try to get better, which is kind of what I'm doing now while also playing Sekiro. And one of the things that's made me more excited about Siege now is for the first time ever I'm actually playing with people online consistently, so I'm getting squads and being able to play with more familiar people online.
With the same people every time?
Yeah, I'm actually making friends with people online, which is exciting because I never really had online friends.
I thought we were your friends.
Yeah, but we're physical friends. I mean, not in that physical. I mean,
maybe.
That was that one time.
Cut.
No, but it's nice to kind of be a part of a small community. So we have our own Discord server and everything. It's a good time. I've been enjoying it. So.
Yeah, that's sick. And it's a mix of people you've never met before, but also some people that you know in person, some friends, some colleagues.
Exactly.
And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because I can talk shit about the people we meet online with the people that I know in real life.
And vice versa. You can say, this twat I know in real life, absolute fucking
I don't know about that.
nightmare.
Because if the real life person tells the guy I met online that I dislike him, then I just have to block that person online, but I can't block the people in my real life.
Real life repercussions. It's not good.
So, aside from Candy Crush, some pretty good games that we've been playing this week.
Yeah, New York Times crosswords, chief among them.
I recommend it. I mean, the mini crosswords are free, so you're really doing yourself you're not doing yourself a favor if you don't play them. They're free.
I ain't gonna.
There's a lot of shit to bitch about this week, as in Final Fantasy being delayed, Cyberpunk being delayed, Sony not being at E3, and you guys fucking talking about Candy Crush.
Well,
yeah,
actually,
right, let's get into the news then, right?
Okay. So we are going to talk about some of these things. I think first and foremost, Reese wants to talk about E3 specifically, not including PlayStation, by their own will.
Yeah, for sure. So Sony has announced that they're not going to be attending E3 2020, which actually marks the second year in a row that this is happening because they kind of cancelled out of 2019 as well. They basically said, Sony said that they don't feel that E3 is right for the PlayStation Vision kind of this time, and instead Sony's going to attend hundreds of smaller, maybe not smaller, but just hundreds of community events, right? And for me, this wasn't, completely out of nowhere. This makes sense. Because over the past year, Sony has been kind of centralizing everything for PlayStation. So we have out of London, Jim Ryan, who is the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment. We have Herman Hulst here in Amsterdam. He's the head of Sony PlayStation Worldwide Studios.
Previously Guerrilla as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's still the head of Guerrilla as well, but he has experience at one of Sony's biggest first-party studios. So yeah, this kind of makes sense because, like I was telling you earlier, Jeremy, if you're in Europe, why would you kind of want to go to this like consume? Because the E3, the ESA, Entertainment Software Association, has been like trying to change it into this consumer event away from this kind of trade show B2B thing that it used to be, right? So they've been trying to change it into that. So if you're already based in Europe, you know, you have Jim Ryan, the big dog in Europe, why would you want to fly all the way to LA for a consumer event with a footfall of 70k?
You're asking two people who both wanted to go until yesterday.
Yeah, I know. You both love, but then like.
Well, I see your point.
Yeah, but E3 has a footfall of 70k, and then Gamescom, which is in Germany and like very centralized, also in Europe, has footfall of 370k. Like, does it really make sense for a more centralized Sony to kind of prioritize this America first location?
But Gamescom is also consumer focused to an extent.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you're going to choose a consumer focused conference, why would you go to the one with 70,000 attendees when you can go to the one with 370,000 attendees when it's right on your doorstep, right?
Where people can just follow the conference online anyway, and that wouldn't make any difference for the business anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Like, everything's online.
I mean, having people in person doesn't bring any extra money to Sony.
No.
If anything, they're more free to host their own convention without sticking to E3's regulations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot.
There's
that
no
could be,
upsides for them.
There's a lot that could be going on here with Sony. I mean, on one side with the PS4, they're absolutely top dog when it comes to consoles. I mean, they've taken the market share and they've owned it for the past generation.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not unexpected. Maybe a little unexpected, but it's definitely not a surprise because they weren't at E3 last year. Even though everybody knew that, you know, people assumed that they wouldn't be announcing a new console at E3 last year. Probably it would be coming this year. And then they did, like, what did they publish, a memo or a newsletter that had the PlayStation 5 announcement?
It was in... No, they, like, gave some specs to, like, Wired.
Yeah.
And then... Yeah, no, I think it was all in Wired, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was, like, just through a magazine, or I guess a journal, news outlet. But it's just kind of like a lot less splash than the massive announcement that you would expect. And, I mean, I don't know if they're wrong. Everybody's expecting a PS5. It's not a surprise. Everybody was talking about it. It's kind of just the next obvious step in Sony's console lineup, and they got it out, put it out there, and now they're planning on announcing the content and the specs at later dates. So
I mean, some of the specs are already out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like companies announcing stuff on their own terms is nothing new, right? Nintendo has been doing this thing with their Treehouse or Nintendo Directs for a long time, and that's been working so well. Like, look how well the Switch is doing. It just works. Like, in this kind of globalized games business, like, you don't, like, a physical event or announcement doesn't really go a long way. Like Alessandro just said, everything is online. Everybody's streaming these events anyway, so it really doesn't make a difference.
And why would you have to wait for E3 to happen to announce your stuff like Xbox did? They announced it. They revealed the new console way before E3 because apparently, in their mind, in their opinion, that was the right moment to do it, based on market research and a lot of stuff. And many people, many companies just have to feel like, oh, E3 is coming. We have to push something out. We don't have anything to show, and so they end up showing trailers for games that are gonna come out in 4 years, like Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. I mean, so let's just host your own conference when you have content to share with the people, and not because the audience is asking you to.
100%.
That makes sense. I mean, Xbox announced the X Series at the Game Awards, and it kind of, I guess, is an indication that the direction that E3 has taken. That, like, oh, the Game Awards has more people viewing, probably has a better offering because of how stacked their announcement lineup was. That it made sense for Xbox to to be presenting or announcing the Xbox Series X there.
Yeah, and they stole the show with that announcement. So think about it. In E3, where everybody has announcement on announcement on announcement, why would you want to announce or give more details about your new console there in that crowded environment when you could say, I don't know, a month later, just have your own event and have the news week all for yourself, right?
Exactly.
It's just, I think that's just the way it's going. Like everybody's
gonna share the spotlight with many other companies. If Xbox and PlayStation will reveal their consoles on the same day, then you're gonna share your audience.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna share the spotlight. And now Xbox has got their own, a couple of months of fame, and PS5 is gonna do the same when they feel like the time comes.
Yeah,
definitely.
The time is right.
Definitely. I mean, I'm not worried about it. I think that we're going to get a fantastic PlayStation 5 announcement, and I'm absolutely going to buy it the minute it's available.
Me too, yeah.
Sony, if you want to sponsor our podcast with a PlayStation 5.
And Microsoft as well, probably buy Xbox Series X as well. So Microsoft, if you want to throw a couple of dollars my way,
Maybe 6 months of Game Pass, who knows?
And Nintendo,
even a 2% discount is better than nothing. I'm just saying.
Even fucking Stadia. Oh, actually, no, it's fine. No.
So interesting to talk about PlayStation's announcement because. We have some more PlayStation-related discussions, specifically around exclusives, or I guess no longer exclusives. Do you want to expand on that, Reese?
Yeah, sure. So basically, Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC, or if Jason Schreier from Kotaku's sources are to be believed,
which they usually
Yeah,
are.
they usually are. Like he's very solid. Like he has like journalistic rigor.
I trust that guy more than my mother.
Yeah, for sure. Like journalistic integrity in the games business is a very contentious issue. But Jason Schreier, also Patrick Klepek from Vice Gaming as well. Like they are two of the the few who you can actually believe. Like if they have sources, they bring out an article, you can usually trust it to actually happen.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like I was saying, Jason Schreier's sources say Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC, and this follows a few weeks ago when Sony announced that MLB The Show, which was previously a PlayStation exclusive series, is coming to Xbox. So yeah, like
same with Detroit Become Human and
all of Quantic Dream's games are they Epic Game Store exclusives? I think so, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Potentially coming on Steam at a later time, but for now,
yeah, for now,
I don't know if that's been
exclusive.
confirmed. Yeah.
No, I'm not sure either. But yeah, also Death Stranding, which was funded and originally published by Sony, is coming to PC as well this year now. And like what kind of stood out to me is I remember that Guerrilla Games kind of lent Kojima Studios the rights to the Horizon Zero Dawn engine, right? So I think there is kind of like a dichotomy there.
You mean Guerrilla? I misunderstood.
Yeah, Guerrilla let Kojima Studios use the Horizon Zero Dawn engine for Death Stranding, right?
Yes.
So yeah, all this shows is that like kind of Sony is finally kind of opening up to this platform agnostic future. Before they were like no crossplay, all PlayStation stuff stays on PlayStation.
I mean, with Microsoft's boot at their heels, so to speak. I mean, sure, Sony has leading market share with the PlayStation 4, but Microsoft's been playing their cards right entirely when it comes to kind of consumer perception. They've been doing everything right. They've been doing things that people have been asking for years, and really pushing things like crossplay, and moving away from quote unquote exclusives because they have the benefit of owning Microsoft Windows, which is the biggest. I mean, it's the gaming OS.
Yeah.
So
it's the OS full stop. Like,
I mean, Apple
for
Apple
PC.
OS or Mac OS for PC. Yes, it's the OS.
Yeah, but I mean, even in terms of all kind of computing, like Apple and Mac things are like massive in the US, but here and in emerging markets, it's all Windows, it's all PC. Right?
No, absolutely. So they have that exclusivity already through PC and through Xbox. If they release a game on PC and Xbox, they still kind of have exclusivity to some extent because, I mean, they're benefiting from the fact that a lot of people are going to be using either Windows or Xbox Store, and on top of that, they're more pushing towards kind of offering a subscription service anyway. So PlayStation kind of has to follow suit in some way, and they don't want to scare people away by being too closed down.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn's been out for, what, 3-4 years?
I think 3, yeah, it's 2017, I think early in the year, so yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
So they can just scoop up some extra revenues from PC and be seen as good guys. So it kind of seems like a win-win for me.
Yeah, why the
like
fuck
they
not?
already milked as much as they could, and now they're just making some extra revenues.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, but I'm starting to see the light at the end of this exclusivity tunnel with many games leaving the PlayStation exclusive and status and just going on Xbox and PC too.
Yeah, like I don't
And
think
with Call of Duty introducing for the first time in history an actual cross-play functionality where you can literally play against your friends on Xbox and PC is something we will never.
and PS4. That's the crucial part, right?
Yes.
Console on console.
Console versus console.
Yeah.
That's something that
The deciding.
we never thought would ever happen.
Yeah.
So you
I mean,
never know.
to be fair, I would never play Call of Duty against PC players.
No.
Well, not if I was using a controller. Then.
I mean, Call of Duty is the only shooter that I play on console, just because I'm so bad at Call of Duty and I don't have time to get good at Call of Duty.
Because the only friend that plays with you plays on PlayStation.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just
No, I mean, even if you didn't play on PlayStation, I'd still play on PlayStation. Just because, like, the skill gap between PlayStation and PC, like mouse and keyboard versus controller input, is so high that I'm just not that good at shooters. I
Yeah.
can't compete with people in PC.
No, I understand it. And like bringing it back to kind of, Sony doesn't want to lose their position because, Microsoft are doing this kind of platform agnostic thing, and we think Sony also is like, okay, shit, I need to do this as well. But the whole console war thing has always been a tug of war, right? You had the PS2, which is one of the best selling consoles of all time. And then in the West, here comes the Xbox 360. Like compared to the PS3 was like fucking $600 back in 2006. That's ridiculous. And therefore, the Xbox 360 came out on top in the West. Japan's a different story, but in the West, Xbox 360 came out on top. And then you had next generation, E3 2014. You have Microsoft announcing the Xbox One, always online, DRM, all this bullshit. People hated it. And then they have the PS4, this more traditional console, everybody's like flocking to that. And now they are the market leader in the West this generation. So whatever happened last generation is no reflection on the coming one.
Yep.
So and I think that PlayStation understands that. And they are the top dog this generation, right? And they know that like Microsoft can come in and fucking snatch this from them easily, as they've done in the past.
Yeah.
And
They're not taking their position for granted.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
they're playing it very safe.
Exactly. And
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah, and Microsoft...
Things might change again like they did.
Yeah, of
for the
course.
previous gen.
It's like if history repeats itself, they swap and swap and swap, right? And I think PlayStation this time is like, oh shit, like Microsoft has done all this stuff to like be this big service company, this for the consumers, let them play their games wherever they want, give them these free games with Game Pass.
And that's one thing about, the fact that Sony's not going to E3 is they don't really have that many exclusives to share. But if you look at how many how many company acquisitions or content acquisitions Microsoft has gone through with in the past few years,
It's scary.
they're gonna have so much fucking content to share.
Obsidian shit, man.
It's gonna be a good year for Microsoft exclusives, quote unquote. Basically, first party titles that they'll be releasing, because they have so many more studios than PlayStation, and in such diverse kind of genres and expertise. And because they're releasing through Game Pass, there's going to be a lot more experimentation in that field, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. This is the most excited I've been for scare quotes console war for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I cannot fucking wait.
It's gonna be great.
Incredible.
It's like watching the World Cup finals, but instead of 90 minutes, they last for a whole year.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
a continuous excitement and a continuous battle.
Yeah, and then instead of like a shit team versus a good team, it's fucking Brazil versus Brazil.
Yeah.
It's like it's
like
actually
Brazil versus,
it's actually a good it's a
Argentina.
good fight this
France
time.
versus France.
Oh, fuck off.
Who won last
France
World
sucks.
Cup? Who won last World Cup?
I don't know, man.
Germany or Spain? Oh, fuck off.
No, I think it was France.
I don't know,
Was
man.
it?
Yeah, it was fucking
I'm not
France.
sure about that.
No. Fucking France.
I wouldn't mind going back to Xbox, to be honest. I would be super happy to go back to Xbox
Nah.
as my main
I'm
gaming.
I'm a Sony boy.
I prefer
I don't like
I
PlayStation.
prefer PlayStation's first party content. You know,
Absolutely.
Sony Santa Monica's got God of War.
Yeah.
I mean,
content-wise, yes. but hardware-wise,
I'm a PC
the
gamer. Why
controller,
the fuck would
the
I,
environment, the OS, the representatives behind Microsoft, behind Xbox. Can you compare Phil Spencer's conference from E3 to Sony's?
I don't know. Jim Ryan, like he's a charismatic guy. Like I think it all depends on like what they're presenting, right? Like you can be the best presenter and you're presenting a piece of shit, and you can be the worst presenter and you're presenting gold, and the worst presenter
Might
is
be a
gonna come off
personal thing.
better.
I don't know, secretly love Phil Spencer.
I think Microsoft as more of a service excites me, but I wouldn't. I mean, I play on PC, so I would never go for an Xbox because everything that I could get on an Xbox, I can get on PC. And this has been a long time coming. I don't see any reason as a PC gamer to buy an Xbox. I'd see a reason to buy a PlayStation.
Playing
and
on the
that's-
couch on your TV.
Yeah, I
Just
just
not having to worry about driver updates or hardware upgrades or
they still update your
system
Xbox.
instability,
They do all that.
keeping your system separate from your work environment. I don't know.
Yeah,
There are many
but that's
reasons.
the thing. Xbox Series X isn't for current PC gamers. It's for console
Future.
gamers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or perhaps you try and convert someone from PS4 to Xbox, PS5 to Series, Series Xbox, Series X, whatever the fuck it's called.
Xbox.
Yeah, they're gonna do
confusing.
Series S as well. That's gonna
Yeah,
be like the
100%.
shitty little
And then
discless
Series
one.
S all digital, Series sad.
Yeah.
But-
And then the PlayStation's like,
that's-
here's PS6, just so
That's-
sequential.
yeah,
That's it.
P-
And then we can have a
PS5.
PS6 Pro. That's so
Yeah.
much easier. Jesus Christ. And can you imagine a mom for Christmas having to buy the Xbox Series X?
R.I.P.
Oh, no.
When she's looking at the
R.I.P.
shelves, she sees the Xbox One S, Xbox One X.
Young boys getting an Xbox
Xbox
One X
X.
because it's cheaper.
Like, but mom, I already have it. Like.
I mean, the name's the same. It's $500 cheaper.
But no, like marketing has a big role to play in this shit. Like, look
Absolutely.
at the Wii U, right? It followed the Wii, one of the biggest commercial successes in the console industry. It got everyone playing games. My fucking grandmother, God rest her soul, at Christmas she fucking played it. Yeah, Jeremy's doing the Catholic cross. We're not religious, but we do that for some reason.
We're very religious in this podcast. What are you talking about?
But yeah, going back to the point, the Wii was like one of the biggest consoles of all time. And then you had the Wii U, just fucking floundered and flopped, even on the back of that. That's just because the marketing was so bad. People are like, what, is this like an upgrade to the Wii? Is this an extra controller?
Absolutely.
Had they called it a Wii 2, like the whole gaming business right now would be completely different.
And that's
perhaps.
not nearly as bad as Xbox Series X, in my opinion.
PlayStation, they go PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, PlayStation 4. What did they have a Slim?
Yes.
Slim.
of the PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Slim,
yeah.
and PlayStation.
And now PlayStation
no, wait.
5.
They didn't have a Slim for the.
They didn't.
4.
So they just
No,
went.
they did. They had that
They did.
original one in 2014, and then that
Yeah.
SKU was just
Yeah.
replaced with this
Yeah.
kind of. This is like the
But it
new
was just
PS4.
the new PS4, right?
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
like-
If you ask
so-
for a PS4, this
yeah.
is what you'll get.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
not
had
you
like the
can choose.
baseline, and then they had like a slightly update. I think it looks a little bit better. It's rounder edges because
Yeah, exactly.
you could kill someone with a PS4. That shit's so sharp and heavy.
Yeah, it's like a fucking George Foreman.
It's insane.
Not as bad as PS3, but it still is like a George Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
I think
grill,
it's
you
worse.
Can grill
The edges are
bang and
sharp.
steak and that shit.
I mean, every time I go through airport security with my PS4, they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, to be
And
fair,
I'm
the
like,
Xbox One is also quite sharp.
yeah, I mean, so we're not talking about console sharpness in that sense.
There we are.
No, but
How
I
much
mean,
can you fucking cut
so-
someone with a console?
I mean, the other shit's been covered already. Nobody talks about.
you get
Sharpness.
PS4, and then I guess updated PS4, which you could compare to Slim,
Mhm.
PS4 Pro, and then PS5. Yeah, and I mean, in other news, what we also got this week was a Cyberpunk 2077 delay, which is, you know, a little... I guess I'm not really mad about it because...
Me neither.
I don't think a lot of people should be either because a lot has changed in the last 10 years. A lot of games have been delayed. And
yeah, I mean, look, like, not just a lot of games, a lot of, like, you know, generation-defining games. You have God of War...
2016.
Or
2018.
2018, Red Dead Redemption 2, also 2018... 2017?
2018.
Yeah, 2018, you're right. No, 2018.
No, November 2018.
Yeah, The Witcher...
We're drunk if you can't tell.
Yeah, we're pretty drunk. The Witcher 3, which was, I guess, 2015.
Well, yeah, so that's what's interesting is even the game preceding Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed as well.
Yeah, from CD Projekt Red.
And that was absolutely the defining game for CD Projekt Red. I mean,
yeah,
all the hype that is coming for Cyberpunk 2077 is from The Witcher 3.
Yeah, for sure. And all those good games I just listed, not good games, fucking generation-defining games, and also The Last of Us 1, also, you know, Naughty Dog stuff in general, Uncharted 4, Last of Us Part 2, not out yet, we can assume it's going to be great. All these games have in common, they were all delayed, and they all were better for it, and
Absolutely.
we're still talking about them.
I mean, I would even go as far as to say that at this point, with a game that I'm very excited about, if it gets delayed, I'm happy about it because it's kind of an indication that the developer is giving it extra attention and they're not releasing it just for the sake of releasing it. And we kind of talked about this before with Ubisoft and Breakpoint. Basically, the backlash that faced directly resulted in them announcing delays for all of their upcoming title.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important for these companies to kind of realize that a delay won't sink them, but a bad game will.
Yeah.
And if if turning a glitchy release into a very well polished release takes 4 more months, they'll get a lot more value from that than if they release it off the bat.
First impressions, they matter so much.
Absolutely.
It's easier to delay a game by 2, 3, 4 months and make it the best that it can be than to release a mediocre game and then make up for it with a patch 3, 4 months later. I mean, first impressions, they matter so much, right?
Definitely. And if you look around communities, I think people are a little bit more mature about the entire thing because of this string of successful games that we've had that were delayed. So, all in all, CD Projekt Red, do your thing. Although, I did read that they mentioned they might be required to crunch, not necessarily in favor of that, but you know, that's a difficulty that the industry is pushing through. So
yeah, that makes me sad. And Jeremy actually a couple of years ago did his thesis for his masters about crunch in the games industry, and he's very quiet about this. He doesn't really talk about it that much, but like he just brought it up in conversation like last week to me. And I was like, yeah, send it to me. He sent it to me, and it's fucking amazing. I think fucking really good. And I think that people would be remiss to not read about it if they're interested in crunch.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I didn't realize that you had read it already.
Yeah, I did. And like Jeremy said, oh yeah, watch out for my bad English. It's fucking good English. Like,
many of you might not know this, but I speak English, actually.
Yeah, he does. It's his first language, believe it or not.
No, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely an advocate against crunch. I mean, the human element of crunch is massive, but on top of that, I think that avoiding crunch adds a lot of value to games. So Cyberpunk, well, CD Projekt Red's in a bit of a precarious situation here just because they have a deadline and they're trying to meet it, and they've identified crunch as something they're going to do, and this was something that they did do with The Witcher, but I guess if anybody at CD Projekt Red is listening, which is very unlikely,
very
good luck through the next, I guess, few months.
You know, so it's like 9 months. Yeah. September, right?
It's going to be rough. One last article. This comes from Vice Gaming, I guess.
Formerly Waypoint.
Yeah,
and now
Waypoint.
They've rebranded back to just Vice Gaming, I think.
I think so. I mean, it's on the Vice website. Basically, somebody over there looked at the Nemesis system that Warner Bros. Game used in Shadow of Mordor, and then Shadow of War, which actually I refunded Shadow of War. I got it recently and I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? Even now, because like it had a bit of backlash initially for being like kind of like pay to win. Like
no, I mean it's none of the pay to win stuff. It was just gameplay wise. I think it kind of came in this awkward time where like it was the last instance of like kind of clunky gameplay and like not very fun gameplay. Like it just came at that time and it wasn't fun for me. Like,
seriously, I didn't play Shadow of War because of all the backlash about the pay to win stuff, but
it might be because I'm playing Sekiro right now. I just can't deal with the clunky mechanics.
It could be, but I remember playing Shadow of Mordor back in.
I like Shadow of Mordor.
I fucking loved it. It felt like what I wanted Assassin's Creed to be back then, right? It was more kind of like you had the choice to just jump around the map and put your abilities wherever.
But basically, what they highlight in this article. Which, by the way, Vice right now is one of my favorite gaming-related news outlets. I mean, they are doing some good fucking work.
Their podcast, that's Waypoint Radio. I love it.
Shouts out to Waypoint.
Yeah, Patrick Klebick and fucking the whole crew are awesome. Like Ricardo, they're
it's
amazing.
A good time.
Yeah.
Basically, they're talking about how well the Nemesis system would work in a Batman game.
Can you explain what the Nemesis system is?
Yeah, so the Nemesis system is basically you have nemesis. So
Nemesis.
I guess you're a protagonist in the game, and then you have a string of enemies who make up the opposing army that you're going against. So in any game, any I guess AAA game where you're facing against an army like Assassin's Creed, or anything could apply where you have a big opposing force that you're single-handedly going against. Here they actually put like characters that were placed at different points of this army, so as lieutenants or commanders or corporals, and your goal is to essentially find these corporals and defeat them. And when you defeat them, they can come back stronger, or if you get killed by them, then the next time you face them, they'll fight back against you kind of in a slightly different way. So it makes...
And they'll remember that you killed them, right? They'll be like, you're the guy who made me lose my ear or whatever.
Exactly. So, I mean, it just makes for... It's kind of a charming interaction. It's a good system to have because it adds a lot of mystery, and it also gives you a diverse kind of enemy that you could fight against. I don't think it was that hard to implement because there's kind of some repetitions, but it's more like, dual wielding weapons plus like, a large person and then some kind of orc related name. But
there's some kind of random like generated.
Exactly.
But I remember when it first came in 2014, I thought this was the future of open world games. We're going to see this in this game and that game and this game, but it never happened.
It never happened because honestly, I mean, I think the problem was that a lot of games are based on their own IP.
Yeah.
That have come out recently, and we're seeing kind of like a push for more IP coming in. We've been seeing that for the past few years, but no one applied it in Spider-Man, but it also could have been a good fit in Spider-Man.
Yeah, with all the kind of different villains and stuff.
Exactly, and that's
in the city.
That's what Vice is arguing in this piece, which is essentially about how good of an addition to Batman games it would be.
Oh, because the Warner Brothers have the rights to Batman as well. Right? Yeah.
Exactly, and Warner Brothers games have been teasing some kind of new game that they're working on, which the Vice Studios touch up on.
Is it from Rocksteady?
So literally, there's nothing beyond a series of images that's been posted on their Twitter. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not like a Batman super fan. I'm a fan. I read the comics. I've seen the movies.
I mean, if you've read the comics, that's a pretty big fan. I'd say more.
Thank you very much.
More than passive. Yeah.
No, I mean, I love Batman. I don't recognize the symbols here, but I guess that on the internet there's enough of a kind of fan theory stating that it could be Batman. Yeah. Pushing towards the fact that this might actually be happening, which would make sense. I mean, Arkham Knight came out quite a few years ago.
A long time, 5 years.
The Arkham series was very successful. So
although Rocksteady, they did that Arkham VR game, right? That was the last thing they did.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
So
I don't think this is
could be something in the works, and it could take advantage of the Nemesis system, which was so defining for the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mortar games. Which honestly would be sick. I mean, if you could have generals within kind of Penguin's army or Scarecrow's army, that'd be fucking awesome. I'd definitely play that.
So if you could apply the Nemesis system to any kind of IP or franchise or game, what would it be?
Oof.
Yeah, it's a big question.
That's a big question that I did not prepare for.
Sorry.
Honestly, I mean, I think Vice is absolutely on the right track here with superhero games. I mean, if you look at Spider-Man that came out recently, I mean, you had all these amazing bosses, these really creative bosses, but then the henchmen were pretty repetitive. I mean, you had different classes within henchmen, like
the big
rocket
guys,
launchers. Exactly. Yeah. If you could have generals within that army, as you would assume would happen in real life, mini bosses, then it could be interesting, especially in, I think, Shadow of War. They also included that to where if you beat someone, they would be added to your army. And then you would get XP from that.
I think they even did that in Modo. Oh, I could be wrong. Sorry, carry on.
I don't remember, but I feel like that was a Shadow War specific.
Maybe.
But that could make for kind of an interesting side mechanic, and I think it would work really well in superhero games. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, mine is a bit more boring, just something, I don't know, more like a GTA or Red Dead Redemption where you have kind of like your different gangs in each territory. You have maybe a gang where you meet like in Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, you meet like a rival, maybe gunslinger, where you maybe kind of have like a tussle with them, but you don't have your final showdown or whatever, and this kind of all builds up into some kind of final showdown. But I don't know, all of the supernatural element of like the massive orcs with like and also the superheroes, like you say, is also pretty compelling.
But I think I was a little bit biased from the fact that it was leaning on such massive IP, but it's true that in Red Dead Redemption, if you had some asshole who just kept coming back for more, quote unquote, maybe bigger and bigger guns each time,
just eyeing you down from across the canyon,
exactly,
right?
calling you, all of a sudden you're walking through the canyon, it's calling you over. No, I mean, I think it could work in a lot of games. At the end of the day, it's just kind of mini bosses that don't take much effort to develop, and
that we know of anyway. But we're no developers.
True. Yeah. But they can add a lot to a game narratively, especially an open world game.
Agree, and I'm surprised that it never kicked off, because I felt like such a bit like, because back in 2014, that was like 1 or 2 years into the new console generation. This was like, it felt like something that was different compared to the PS3, Xbox 360 era.
Definitely.
So I thought that would be something that would develop. But it just never happened. It's strange. And I mean, it always happens with like AI type stuff, right? Like it always gets put like to the wayside compared to like graphics.
Maybe it suffered from the fact that it was attached to such a massive IP.
Perhaps, yeah.
Saying that it could only work in large IPs.
But it's not necessarily the case. I mean, I don't know anything about what goes into that tech, but I don't know. I mean, I hope something like that kicks off. Like,
that'd be great.
Or ripples throughout the industry, but we shall see.
We shall see, definitely. So looking out for that Batman announcement. Fingers fucking crossed, because I would love a Batman game, especially given how much I loved Spider-Man in 2018.
And the Arkham games as well. I mean, Arkham... What was the last
Knight,
one?
Arkham
Knight was the third one. Like, I liked that one, but it didn't quite have the same character and impact as the others. And the Batmobile controls were a bit...
It was larger scale.
Yeah, that as well. I like the more Metroidvania compact style of Arkham Asylum. Yeah.
Still fun though. Still a good time. So
yeah, for sure.
Warner Brothers, do it.
Please do it.
I think that's gonna be the end of our time here. We gotta wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we do have some stuff that we're gonna throw your way experimenting with. Potentially in the next podcast, you'll see a link or an email address pointing to a raffle, and more will come on that next podcast. So thanks again for tuning in. Any last comments?
Thanks for tuning in if you made it this far, and like if you have any kind of like feedback or suggestions or even questions for us, just like reach out to us. We're like at this early stage where we're so happy to kind of answer that and kind of get the community involved.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to do something like that, I mean, at this point, just reach out to me on Twitter. I'm Superreese. I know it's a fucking horrible name, and that's SUPERHYS. And you can also reach out to Jeremy.
I don't know my Twitter. I told the wrong one last time, and I realized that after the fact. Next episode, this is the cliffhanger.
Jeremy's gonna make a Twitter.
I'm gonna make a Twitter and I'll share it. Anyway, guys, thanks again for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let's go get loaded.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get even more drunk. Thanks, guys.